What's going on, people? It's your man the YB back once again. Big shout out to my doggy Gary Rook for coming through and boosting up the coin 100%, no doubt about it. So, we got some breaking news right now. Billy Ho Saunders has aired out Chris Eubank Jr. Well, not even aired out, I'm not sure what you call it, but either way, here we go. At Chris Eubank Jr., why not fight the Kazakhstan SHIT bag, IBO laughing face. So, the narrative backing this up. Let me see if you can see it properly. Can you see the narrative? No, you can't see the narrative. I can't. Oh, here's the narrative. The narrative is Billy Joe calling for Chris Eubank Jr. to fight Janik Ali, some next Donny name, on Instagram today and mocking him for considering an ordered fight for the IBO middleweight belt versus, next Donny's name again. So, I'm kind of baffed here, truth be known. Why? We know Chris Eubank Jr. wanted to fight Conor Ben. That's looking a bit iffy right now, or it's been looking iffy. So at this point, Eubank's at almost a crossroads. Where does he go from here? My point is, I'm not sure what's Billy Ho waffling on about. Why isn't he saying, Billy, you haven't got a fight. You're supposed to be coming back. Eubank hasn't got a fight. Why are you talking about Kazakhstan this and, you know what I'm saying, Etinos and that? Call him out. Say, Eubank, you can't box, you're no good, and I want you. He ain't saying that. Instead, he's trying to pass off the smoke to some next Kazakhstan Donny. Some next, what's the guy's name? Beterbiev. That's what you're hoping for. Billy Ho would love Eubank to get in there with Beterbiev. Some Beterbiev, Habib, you know the ones there. Beterbiev, Habib, Hamzat, what's the other guy's name? Makachev. That's why he want one of them Donnies to fly over and handle the business, because he ain't got it no more. I'm telling you now, Chris. Listen, we all know my betting record is nothing to go on, but I'd put big coin. Eubank dust Billy Joe, wash him, probably stop him as well for what it's worth. Properly do him in after that last performance against Liam Smith. And yeah, Billy Joe is a bit more nifty, but Eubank the real deal in my opinion. He's, in my book, he's proven himself. Now, I actually think I wouldn't mind Eubank. We know Triple G's retired, but I think he'd do Triple G as well. Again, don't take my word for it. Please don't. Definitely don't. I mean, if we know anything for a fact, we know Eubank probably get knocked out in round 2 against Golovkin, because I said he'd win the fight, right? And probably Billy Joe, who can't punch, would knock out Eubank because I said he'd win the fight. But logically speaking, in my mind, Eubank's the business, man. On that last performance, I want to see him in some of these big fights. Ben would have been interesting. Billy Joe's interesting. Golovkin's interesting. I don't know enough about Habib, truth be known. I don't know enough about the boxing's Habib, or the boxing's Beterbiev, or the boxing Makachev to comment. So the fact that Eubank's out here looking to defend or pick up, or I'm not sure if he's still got the IBO, it is what it is. I'm trying to think, who's at 160? Okay. Well, Andrade was a champion. At one point, he was calling out Eubank as well. He's been washed at 168, though, against Benavidez. Who's knocking around at 160? Oh, it's Jamal Charlo. Yeah, there's a bunch of randoms there. So really, Eubank, he's been quiet from what I've heard. He should be really out here looking for some real belts, because they're available. It's not like there's some bad dude there. It's wide open. Equally, I think Eubank's more interested. That's not true, actually. I was about to say Eubank's more interested in the coin, but he fought Liam Smith, for example. Did he fight Liam Smith thinking it'd be a walkover? Who knows? But belts are there. I'd like to see him. I mean, anyone. You can't tell me Jamal Charlo wouldn't take a fight against Eubank in the UK, for example. I think he would. Big money, right? It's bigger money than me. Who Charlo fighting? No one knows. So I'd like to see Eubank. If he can't get the Billy Joe fight, if he can't get the Golovkin fight, I mean, at one point I think he was talking about Canelo. Would I watch it? Absolutely. After what I've seen. Now, I'm not saying Liam Smith is what it is, but I wouldn't mind watching it. I think Eubank's more robust. What tell I? We saw him get caught by Liam Smith. And Canelo does tend to put the fear of God. I've never seen... I'm trying to think. Name me a fighter, who goes in there at 168. Or maybe it's more of a indictment on the state of of man today, if that makes sense. Canelo goes in there, he hits Liam Smith a few times, and Liam Smith forgets he's a boxer. Doesn't want to beat him no more. Yeah? Same as Plant, same as Billy Joe, same as Jamel Charlo. People taste the power and don't want to know. People who are dogs, like most people would have said, or Jamel definitely would have said, I'm a dog. He go in there, his dog looking ass, go in there, get touched once, and he ain't want to know. His trainer in there begging, oh man, you know, it's time to go. And fair play to, what's his name? The Texas guy, Derek James. Fair play to him, he was trying his best, but Jamel didn't want to know. What are these guys feeling in there from Canelo? Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm just half gassed off that performance against Liam Smith, which doesn't necessarily mean much. Now, we know Liam Smith didn't do bad against Canelo, although it was a young one. But yeah, I like what I saw, man. I hate to say it, but Eubank versus Smith looked Crawford-esque, and we know Eubank's been training with Terence Crawford's trainer. I'm not just saying that, like, I'm the first guy to admit that, or the first guy to expose that a lot of these boxers, they go to trainers trying to pick up this style, right? And then it very rarely translates. Eubank, for me, with my eyes at least, he came in there composed after being knocked out with a lucky punch or an elbow, whatever you want to call it. He came in there with the same kind of composure I've seen very seldomly. The last place I saw it was Terence Crawford. Literally. He's in there just smooth, cooling. So I do want to see him. I think he's knocking on now though. I think he's like 34, 35. But as we've seen with Ngannou and Terence Crawford and whatnot, that don't really mean much. Obviously everyone's different, but I do want to see Eubank kind of test himself. I'd like to see him have some of them kind of George Groves fights now. I believe he's a much more complete fighter now. I believe he actually also, Eubank's always trained hard, but now he's got that respect for the game after being clipped. He knows now he's got to be on his P's and Q's. And he it's one thing knowing it. Like AJ knows he's got to be on his P's and Q's, but he's not able to translate that into a nifty performance. Eubank knew, damn, I can be spark out with one shot hit, but it didn't faze him. That's something that's special, I believe. Look at AJ, for example. AJ goes in there with Andy Ruiz the first time, doesn't even get smoked. Eubank got smoked, right? Smoked. AJ was never smoked like Eubank was, in my opinion. And yet, how did AJ come back? It completely broke AJ and changed his whole identity. The dude forgot who he was. Never the same again. Eubank comes back and looks better than ever again. And I'm sorry, but Liam Smith and Andy Ruiz, they're kind of similar caliber dudes in my book. Do you know what I mean? They're all one of them ones. Not really that kind of not the B level. It's the B level when it's called a spade. The B level. Ruiz B level, one dimensional. Liam Smith B level, one dimensional. And we saw the difference there between AJ and Eubank. So Eubank, for me, he had an inspiring performance. He not only didn't lose his head like AJ did, he actually came back and upped his level. That day, I'm trying to think, how many fighters lose, and then up their level in a rematch? I'm not a historian, so I couldn't tell you, but yeah. End of the day, Billy Joe, you've been coming back for the longest time now. Stop trying to get Habib to handle the work and call out Eubank yourself. Otherwise, what have we done? I never got that myself. Fair enough, yeah. If Eubank was a 140 fighter or a heavyweight fighter and he's just commenting on Eubank. But we know these guys have history. We know they're in the same weight division. Why not fight the Kazakhstan? No. Why not fight me, is what you should be saying. It makes sense. Now, obviously, it makes sense if you're going to make a post about it. It doesn't make sense with Billy Joe, and he knows that. That's why Billy Joe didn't insert himself. Billy Joe, throughout the years, has reinserted himself many times. Oh, I'll fight Eubank, kind of thing. The reason he hasn't done it now is because he knows Eubank tears his ass up. He'd tear his ass up and put him in his birthday suit, 100%. No doubt. Eubank Jr. put Billy Joe on OnlyFans, on some next zesty thing, 100%. Yeah, the way Eubank would do Billy Joe, he might as well be flown out to Saudi. Fact. Yeah? The way Eubank would do Billy Joe, he may as well be flown in by one of them zesty princes and one of them ones. Porta potty ones. It'd be dread. Truly dread. And he knows it. That's why he's not. That's why he's tagging Kazakhstan. That's why he's tagging Habib. That's why he's tagging Makachev. That's why he's tagging Hamzat. Yeah, because he don't want to work. He want to palm it off to someone else who really about it. So, pipe down, Billy. You ain't got a leg to stand on, buddy. In your last fight, you jacked, and that's what I'm saying. Talking about fighters coming back, look who hasn't come back. Yeah, there's levels to being finished. AJ's finished, but at least he got back in the ring right with Ruiz. Billy Joe got his eye popped, and he ain't been seen from since. Yeah, he been missing. So, he needs to wind his neck in and start focusing on himself, in my book. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe, and leg off the bell 100%, no doubt.